Whoa, jams going on. What's up? Hey, Andromeda 7 portal in the house. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Hi.
All right. Well, y'all know I'm Krista MacArthur, and I am here to welcome each and every one of you to Andromeda 7 portal, the celestial gateway to community, help, support, knowledge, friendship, all those things. And just to be here to support each other through whatever it is we've got going on personally or whatever is going on in the world. That's why we're here, is to help each other, give each other some love and support. So we want to welcome you guys all in the chat. Delaney Pearl Jones is in the chat. Deborah Sloan's in the chat. Project Skyfall. Audrey, what is up, girl? Let's see. Oh, Lucky Stone. Lucky, keep it pumping with those videos, man. I've been loving those. And the Body Owl. Hey, girl, what's going on?
Michelle Marie, how are you?
Michelle
Have you checked
Marie?
out her morning greet? She does these morning. It just briefly comes on every morning and says hi. When she wears this red wig on the other day. It was pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
Makes me laugh every morning. I don't see her when she's live all the time, but I catch it right after, you know.
Awesome.
Wakes me up.
Look who joined us, Grandpa Brian 420. Yay!
Awesome.
What's up, man? Yes,
Hey, Sony. Hi, Suzanne.
All right. Hopefully I didn't
Kelly.
Delaney.
Oh, Kelly's there. Kelly.
There's Kelly, sister.
Oh my gosh.
Suzanne. Hi, Suzanne.
All right. I just wanted to tell you guys that I really appreciate each and every one of you. I truly do. And I love you guys so fiercely. Everyone here, the panelists, each one individually, and everyone in the chat. I just love you guys so much. And I know that sometimes I might be misunderstood, but I can't control how people perceive me. Just know that in my heart, there is a purity for my love for you guys. So, and we're just going to have an awesome show tonight. We'll have Michall Medina. We're coming up. We're having a new approach to the show tonight. So hopefully you guys give us some feedback. Let us know what you think of it. And Brenda, Milky's mom, has a little message for us.
Yay.
Yay. Hello, everyone. I hope everybody had a pleasant day. It was beautiful here in East Tennessee. So I just got a couple of things I wanted to read to you tonight, and it's about being humble. Being humble means recognizing that we are not on earth to see how important we can become, but to see how much difference we can make in the lives of others, which reminds me of our mission statement, our portal, our Andromeda 7 portal mission. It's all about being humble, to want to love others, to help them out. It's about giving. That's what we're here for. And that's us.
That's right.
That's all I have. I just wanted to remind everyone. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, I wouldn't want to do this without your words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Hey guys, guess what? I had a little thing show up. I'll be right back. Teresa, you want to take over for me?
Sure. No
okay,
problem.
I'll be right back. All right.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
That's all right. Life happens.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brenda. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
doing that. Appreciate
You
it.
all have a great show, and I love you all, and I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love ya.
Bye-bye.
Love you too.
Love you.
Love you.
She's a sweetheart.
She makes my
God
heart
bless.
fill with joy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she does. That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Profound.
okay, so we're doing something new tonight.
We are.
We are.
Mhm.
We're trying something out, and we're hoping that our chat room participants will be part of this prototype experiment of ours in communication media. As you know, there's lots of folks that want to come on the show and share their stories, but they live so far away, or they're on the other side of the world, or they have work schedules that get in the way. And so what we've done is we finally came up with what we hope is a really interesting process to get them more involved, and that is to do a pre-recorded interview with them, with a couple of us, and then play that interview in an interactive fashion on the show. And that way our panelists could also join in as if the person's really here and give their ideas and commentaries, as well as the chat room can also give their input.
Mm-hmm.
And we can pause this interview at various increments to allow that interactive organic flow to happen with each other, and then go on with the interview. So it's new, it's different. We're hoping it sounds okay. And for this first time out of the gate, we've paused it, I guess, 3 or 4 times, Lori? We've built in the pauses,
Yeah.
just to see how it flows.
Mm-hmm. And get your reaction.
And get your
the panel's
reaction. The panel's reaction to the guest and what she's having to say.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be watching when she wakes up. She's in Israel. And her name is, by the way, even though she's another Michall, that makes 5 now.
Mm-hmm.
She's pronounced Michall
I think it's
Medina.
pretty. I love that.
And she's a reference from Perry Egan.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave us that wonderful body owl that's there in the chat room. She's fantastic.
Yes.
And this is yet another wonderful person. And I got to spend some one-on-one time with her. And then Lori and I got to interview her. And now you'll get to see her and get to know her. She has a huge Facebook following and in a really unique way, Trina, of doing what she does with transformation. So you'll learn all about her, and she has a story to tell. So so that's what we're doing. So please bear with us. It's our first time testing this process with you all. And we hope that it will help to inspire others to want to join in and tell their stories and share more frequently. So it's something that Al wanted from the get-go. And we just weren't ready. And we've been letting people send in little video clips, but this is actually an interview. So we're hoping that this process works. And if it doesn't, we'll tweak it, you know?
Well, this is also, I also feel like it's great because it doesn't matter what time zone you're in, you can work, in some kind of something from somebody, we're all across the world. So that's one way to get around that challenge. So I'm really excited about tonight. And I wanted to show you guys.
Awesome.
Nina, I got a shirt.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
I didn't mean to do it like that.
That's all right. Well, maybe we can even get Nina to do this at some time, have an interview with us.
I would love
so that she could be more active in the show as well. And Doug is leaving because he's at his daughter's. Bye, Doug. Thanks for dropping in. Hi, Brother Gary, Lucky Stone.
Hi. Okay. So go over to Nina, show her some support. Yeah. Go get you a tee, a hoodie, whatever. I love it. It's so I'm ready for spring and summer. It's like, let me get a tank top. Let me get a tank top.
All right, so we're ready when you all just give this a show. Let's give this a try, shall we?
Let her roll, baby.
Let her roll. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, Michall. It's good to meet you.
Thank you, Michall.
Yeah, we finally get an opportunity from Brother Egan, and I've been following you and a few other folks too. So we finally get you up here to meet the community and talk a little bit about your programs and everything. Yeah, wonderful. You're from Israel. You live in Israel, right?
Yeah, I'm originally from Texas, and I moved to Israel like 3.5 years ago. So now I live here.
Is it kind of a culture shock going from one to the other?
No, I never really experienced culture shock. I was born in Uruguay in South America, and we moved to Texas when I was 8. So I guess I was young enough to adapt.
So you're kind of used to it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, moving to Israel was easy.
Awesome.
So you actually lived here for a while, for most of your life, because you know Texas, US pretty well. Okay.
Yeah. From 8 years old till 3.5 years ago. 20 20 something.
Yeah, wow. I can't imagine picking up and just leaving, as so many people do that and go to another country, and I'd love to. I want to go to Australia, and I want to stay there for a long time.
Change is good.
Yeah, if I was going to go anywhere, it'd be Australia, definitely.
Yeah, me too. I'd love that.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. And you're another transformation life coach, but you have you call yourself an expert in transformation, or
accelerated transformation.
So accelerated. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, a spiritual and mindset coach, mostly focused on resolving triggers.
From a more of a spiritual leadership role as opposed to
Yeah, more of a holistic perspective.
Mhm.
Yeah, just taking into account how our experience of reality is entirely dependent on our perspectives and how we see the world and ourselves, and
Yeah.
how we can shift that. Yeah, through total acceptance of ourselves and all parts of ourselves.
Yeah. Oh, I noticed in your bio you mentioned that you had been through a lot in your youth, not unlike many of us, and you went through a corporate world too, and you finally came to this point where this is what you wanted to do, was help others to transform as you have.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to tell us a little bit about your story? Or
Yeah. So yeah, I worked in electrical engineering for several years, and it was getting to the point where I was really feeling like most of my life was dedicated to this job, and it wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't my passion. And I, at the same time, went through a really difficult experience with a group of friends, which wasn't like a huge deal, but it triggered something in my brain that conscious decided it wasn't safe anymore in the world. Like anyone could just reject me, could say things to me. So it really kind of turned my world upside down, and I started to have this like fight or flight anxiety response in any social interactions. And before that, I was really like just a really outgoing, really, yeah, like that was my life, just thriving around people. And then to go from that to not being able to control this anxiety and not knowing why it's there or how to stop it. And so it sent me into a really deep depression. And I stayed really miserable for about 6 months. And then I decided that I was going to try to figure out how to get to the bottom of this. Whatever it was that just switched in my brain to start having all this anxiety. So that's when I started out with cognitive behavioral therapy, which was more like when the anxiety comes up, how do you handle it? And I was like, okay, that's fine, but I know that there's some way to get to the core root of this anxiety. So then I continued my search and went to trauma therapy, and then I started to go to alternative types of therapies like energy healing and hypnosis. And yeah, so basically like several years of me just kind of working on myself. And really at the start of my healing journey was when I left my job and I decided to move to Israel. To really just get time to focus on myself and just the space to really just be with what was going on within me.
right.
And yeah, so basically in those years of doing all this inner healing, so I notice it's something very common in like the spiritual community and personal growth community, where we realize that like we don't have to be stuck with what we're experiencing. We realize that we can start to work on ourselves. And then comes the phase of like inner work. so what a lot of people can kind of get stuck in is like this constant inner work. Like we're always, trying to get to the core subconscious belief, or trying to, just all this like inner work. And I went through that for several years, and it was only like the last year and a half or something that I realized that I was really keeping myself stuck. Like even though I was always doing this healing and work, but there was like always more to heal and always more to heal, and like
always
like you never really get to the root of it, or you think you did, and then there's another root under that.
like layers of an onion.
Yeah. I find it interesting. Did you have any connection with spirit or anything like that? Or was this more of a psychological growth, just expansion within yourself?
So it was in parallel, like psychological expansion along with the spiritual awakening. So I definitely went through the phase of like, oh, wow, like quantum physics and create your reality and, and all of that, and extra dimensional beings and channeling.
Did you connect with anyone or any type of spirit?
I wouldn't say like one specific like deep connection, but I definitely had experiences like, yeah, just energy healing, like you're just really opened up to all these
it's fascinating to me because for me it was connecting to a spirit guide who's been helping me for about 3 years, and I have a really deep integral relationship with him. And so I was curious if you were all along the same lines or if it was different for you. And it seems fascinating. It's fascinated me that it is different.
Yeah,
it's a more of an inner deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that aspect goes together with it, but I was curious if you experienced that with the guide situation.
Yeah, I think it has more to do with maybe our path, because I've thought about that and tuned into that. Like, you know, there are people who are like, I channel this being, and that's like their thing, right? And I'm just like, that would be cool. Like, I could do that. But I'm like, I really feel like my path is more just bringing my insights out.
I think that's important. I really, that's really fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So you finally ditched the corporate world and set out on your own to open up this service, or is this it's not something you do on the side? You're pretty much full time with us now?
Yeah. So really, when I left my job several years ago, I really took some time just to focus on myself. I did an MBA in Israel for a year. But it was more just like an excuse to say that I was doing something with my life, because that's like the pressure in America to like have something that you're working towards in your career.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was really like I could do my MBA and have still so much more time to focus on myself and be healing than I would in like a 40-hour-a-week corporate job. So
yeah,
that's why I did that really. And then once I graduated, I started to apply for corporate jobs using my engineering background and my MBA. But then I was like, what am I doing? Because this is why I left corporate, because it wasn't my passion. And I found myself trying to get a job for like the sense of like security or like deeply ingrained, like you have to have something lined up all the time.
Financial security,
yeah. And I was like, what am I doing trying to find another job that's not my passion? So I was like, now is the time to step into my passion. And I knew for a while that my passion was helping people somehow. And really everything started to come together, like boom, 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 as soon as I made that decision to step into my passion. So I got like I saw something on Facebook about coaching, and I was like, oh, that's how I can apply like helping people and everything that I've learned from healing, my whole journey in the spiritual, opening consciously and spiritual awakening. And I can apply all of that to coaching. So that's when I started to do that. That was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years at this point. So
that's great. Congratulations, by the way, because
absolutely.
If I had followed my passions, my life would have been so completely different. But I didn't allow myself to be my own person. It was all that programming and control in my in my family. And if I had really truly followed my passions and stood up for myself, but I wasn't in that mindset. So I congratulate you for having the courage to do that.
Yeah, thank you. I think it has a lot to do with the energies too, because the earth is raising in frequency and people are waking up and everything, everyone's like mind set is like shifting.
Yeah, it is.
So there's
on a mass level.
Yeah. So
that's really cool. More. Let's just do a reality check here. We're about 11 minutes in, and I just want to make sure everybody's got their external devices turned off, because I'm picking up just a tad bit of echo from
mine is off.
So just this device will do. Okay, we'll just keep rolling. All right. So you've got a series of programs that you've put together over the years. You've been highly successful at helping your clientele, and it shows up on your website, and you'll be upgrading your website soon, you mentioned. And now you've managed to focus in on a specific area about resolving triggers. So what brought you to that point? And we're going to give you an opportunity here to give us an overview on your 12-step approach.
Yeah. So I was, before that, I was more focused on, accelerated transformation, just this overall program. And I was seeing popping up all over social media in different spiritual groups, people needing support with how to respond when they're triggered, like how to get back in the zone when they're triggered, how to stay in the zone, how to not go into overthinking and imagine
how to recognize it.
Yeah. And I started to really see that so many people need support with that, especially in the groups where it's all about like presence and mindfulness. Like all that is really great, but it seems that it all just kind of goes out the window when we're triggered. It's like when it's the most difficult to apply all of those principles. And in my own personal journey, so basically what I was saying before is we tend to kind of go into this inner work, like constantly working on ourselves and peeling the layers of the onion. But it was only like about a year and a half ago that I realized that I was keeping myself stuck. Like there was always more to heal because I was like in a state of like judging my emotions, judging my reactions, and wanting to fix them. So that was my attitude towards it, like seeing it as a problem and wanting to fix the problem.
I'm still doing that. I'm still doing that.
Yeah. Lots of analyzing.
So it's when we like view all of that as a problem that we never really are free from the problem. There's always another layer of the same problem. Another aspect of it. And like maybe in that process, we kind of get better at like managing it, but we never really resolve it. So that's why what I talk about is resolving triggers, because it's like through these different processes that I take people through in the 12 steps that we start to uncover like layers of things that keep us stuck that we subconsciously do. So like the resistance to trying to fix the problem or find a solution, and really like integrating that into accepting that as like an aspect of ourselves that just wants to be heard and seen, because that's really what the difficult emotion is. It's just something unresolved that we suppressed, and it's just needing our attention. So it really shifts our relationship to what we're experiencing, and it peels off all those layers of resistance that we have. And then it's through that total accepting and allowing,
learning how to let go.
And it's really like the healing, but it's really like the integration and expansion through that, what was the pain for, it really starts to happen automatically, like because all that resistance isn't there anymore. So so basically in my own personal processes, I was starting to apply all of that. And whenever I would notice that I'm triggered about something, then I noticed that I would kind of respond and take myself through this kind of journey to resolve it. And I was like, well, if I can do that and so many people need support with this, then let me kind of break it down into like a step-by-step and help people with this. So
it's amazing that you've done that. You've actually just put it into a system. And to me, that's really incredible.
Well, we have your 12-step free PDF that you provide to folks when they sign up and subscribe to you. And we can pull that up here, and we'll pause periodically to allow our panelists who are sitting here watching this an opportunity to weigh in on some of these. So this is your PDF file, right? This is a copy of it?
Yep. 12 stages to resolving triggers.
All right. So would you mind just I know you can't take the time today to do a detailed, in-depth workshop, but at least give us a brief overview of your program might be helpful.
So basically it's, like I was saying, it's kind of releasing the layers of the things we do that keep us kind of stuck in the same trigger. So first is recognizing that resistance, like where we're seeing it as a problem, trying to fix it, trying to find a solution to it, trying to stop ourselves from feeling that way. So it's about recognizing that and acknowledging and accepting it, giving it space to be seen, felt, and heard, because it's really just an aspect of ourselves that wants to be felt and validated. And so that's like the first step, right? So we can't really make any progress towards resolving it if we have that mindset towards it. So,
and isn't that sometimes the most difficult step?
yeah, that's yes.
You're holding
The
a
first
mirror
step
up to
is always the
yourself.
hardest.
Yeah, right. So once we can really like retrain ourselves to respond to our emotions and not seeing them as like our enemy or something that needs to be fixed, but like really like giving ourselves that validation and space that we like, it's like implementing that to the point where that's like your go-to response to your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, just bringing that awareness and like every time you're triggered, just retraining
Recognize
yourself.
it.
Yeah.
What are some of the techniques that you use to help folks deal with this first step? Because I imagine there's different solutions for different folks. But what do you do?
Yeah. So it comes down to I guess the foundation of it is the person's willingness to I guess heal. Like if they don't have that inner motivation to go within and really start to bring that mindfulness to their experiences, then it'll be like, okay, this is what you do. This is the process to go through and then go put into action. But if it just completely like slips their mind the whole week, then you know, it's not going to become a way of life to respond to yourself with this like loving acceptance if you're not actually like consciously like saying, oh, well, there's that automatic reaction of wanting to avoid my emotions or not wanting them to be there. And then like, let me now take the time to give it space. So what I teach people is a meditation process for how to like give your emotion that space. And it might help some people to like take themselves through like the breathing techniques and then allowing themselves to feel the emotion with their focus on their heart center. Or for some people, it can just be as easy as like reminding themselves like, no, it's okay to feel this way. It's okay. And then as soon as they tell themselves that and the emotional charge starts to dissipate, all that anxiety and tension really just starts to melt as soon as you tell yourself that it's okay to feel this way. Because it's really just that. Yeah,
for me, it was like practicing that, you know, okay, I recognize this trigger. How is this triggering me? I'd kind of process it and then I'd kind of move it aside. Okay, it's been recognized. All right, I don't need to act on that. All right, I'm just going to stay in observer mode.
Yeah.
So it's interesting practicing it. Yeah. And then becoming each time you do it like a muscle, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was having other people hold up a mirror to me because first of all, I had help because I had a few people that were open to helping me. But I didn't know, I didn't necessarily know what I needed the help with. And so they were taking me through this first phase, but I didn't even know this first step, and I didn't even know that that's what they were doing. And I'm like, so they would hold up little, and I would get frustrated sometimes when they would hold up this mirror, and I'm like, I don't understand. So a lot of it was denial, or I wanted help, but a lot of it was pushback on my part. So this first step, I think, is one of the most challenging. So let's take a few seconds here to pause, and so that our panelists can join in and give their input for a second.
Wow. Where do you even begin? I mean, she is just so incredible, you guys. Like, she's so relatable. And I think that's why she's just so, her energy is so contagious. And yeah, she's had a very humble beginning with all of this, you know, in the corporate world. And I can relate to her to the fact that, you know, I got sick of falling into the same traps in that victim mentality kind of thing, you know, like, you don't like doing jobs. You keep taking jobs because you've got that, you know, stability fear. So that's one of the big ones that I can really relate to her. And I just think, man, does she have some tenacity or what?
Yes, she does. She did it all herself.
Yeah, that's what's amazing to me.
She just had that inner strength to just pick herself up and do it herself.
Figured it all out.
That's hard to do.
Girls, Texas girls.
That's a warrior.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? We say all those things, but it's not easy. It's not like this is fun. It's not like it's fun being a warrior sometimes. Sometimes it just sucks. Because sometimes doing the right thing and standing up for yourself and standing up for what you know is right and for you, it's difficult. And it takes courage because you've got to do things scared. Unfortunately.
Well, you have to expect some growing pains. So anytime you're changing something about yourself or moving through a process, it's all about the growing pains. So yeah, you're going to feel that, but you're going to come out even better on the other side.
And you're right, Skyfall, she is down to earth. That was
she is. I love it.
She's got over 800 some followers in her Facebook group.
Dang.
And I've invited maybe 4 or 5 of you since Perry invited me to participate, just to get to know her a little bit, and we can add, or you could go there and invite yourself in. But wait until you see how she has broken down this process. It's fascinating.
I'm already mind blown. And Teresa, oh my gosh, girl, you almost had me crying.
Well, she has that way of just opening you up. She's easy to talk to.
She's very pure, and she's simplified it in a way that's, to me, it's fascinating, because I like to overcomplicate everything. So
me too. Oh,
for her to just come in and go, boop, there it is. It was like, wow, this is refreshing.
So she's going to go through another 3 or 4 steps, and then we'll pause again to talk about. So we're moving on to the second step here: acknowledging and accepting, recognizing the trigger for what it is. Survival instincts. Oh yeah, but I like what you're saying about the brain is trying to keep you safe.
Yeah, so that's that fight or flight response, like the anxiety. So whenever you notice that you're getting triggered and you have that heart racing, it's really like, okay, all of that is the physiological response to the instincts of your brain sensing something according to that part of your brain, something that's dangerous to your life. But like in actuality, it's just the instincts reacting. But in actuality, your life isn't in danger. In most cases, like if you're gonna go I don't know, take a test or do an interview or something that gives you anxiety, and it's just the brain getting you prepared for fighting for your life. But as soon as you know that, then it's not like, oh, breathe and calm myself. It's just, oh, that's my brain trying to keep me safe from danger. Thank you. And then it goes away.
A defense mechanism. It's an automatic, integral part of who you are for that defense mechanism to come into play. So you have to, uncock it. So
like, thank you so much, brain. My life is not actually in danger.
Right.
So let's, then feel calm.
Yeah. Center, bring yourself back. There's the practicing of it.
So is the brain here's a stupid question. I know this. Is the brain your consciousness, or is the brain your biological, physiological meat suit getting in the way? Is it ego? When we say brain, we're talking about logic, usually, function.
Yeah, when I say, I guess it depends in what context, but when I say like the instincts part of our brain, it's like a certain, I don't know if it's the amygdala or some part of our brain that's the reptilian brain, like the part that's responsible for instincts. Yeah, like fight or flight. It's basically its function is to keep you alive, survival, right?
Survival. And I see you sitting here saying you acknowledge that and thank the brain for trying to keep you safe. I never would have thanked the brain.
See it as like outside of yourself, almost, in a way.
Right.
You're observing it from a different aspect of who you are. Right?
Yeah. Well, for me, what it does is like it shifts our relationship to the fight or flight response. So like the go-to response is like, oh, like I'm anxious, let me do some breathing techniques to calm down. But when you really just like I guess honor that anxious response as like a part of just trying to keep you safe from danger, then you don't have to fight it or try to calm yourself from it. It's just like, oh, like, thank you. And then when you realize what it's trying to do, keep you safe from danger, or like something that's perceived as like threatening your life, and you logically know that your life is not actually in danger, then it just takes away that whole charge. Yeah.
Nice.
That is really cool. And maintaining a state of neutrality towards the thoughts as they arise. Maintaining a state of neutrality towards the thoughts as they arise. Meaning step outside and don't be involved emotionally. Look at it from outside looking in.
Yeah. Understand what's going on. Compartmentalizing it. Okay, now I'm neutral. I'm just going to stay in the middle. I'm not going to react. I'm not going to think about it too much. I'm just going to accept what it is and stay neutral. That's what I get out of it.
And you were able to do this without anybody counseling you? You were able to objectively view yourself without anybody counseling you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the process I developed.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
Really, truly.
Thank you.
Because I wasn't able to do that. I needed help.
Yeah.
Every time I tried to do it on my own, I was like a train wreck. This is wonderful. Again, I have a tremendous amount of respect for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it allows the person that you're helping to have that support that they need to do this, because it's really difficult on your own. And without support, you're not sure if you're going in the right direction. Am I doing the right things?
Yeah.
Am I practicing this properly? It's like you need that assistance.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's wonderful. All right. Well, let's go on with 3 and 4, and then we'll pause and give the panelists a chance to weigh in too.
Okay.
Sure. So yeah, the point of uncovering the pattern is we tend to so basically a trigger is we're projecting our past experience of some event that was unresolved, usually in childhood or somewhere around that age. And we're projecting that unresolved experience onto the present. And so in a trigger is usually like a theme, right? It's something we get triggered like over and over again through different situations that kind of activate that same emotional response. So we tend to like project that perspective based on that unresolved experience and emotion onto the current circumstances. And it tends to like paint how we view what's happening. So we can jump to conclusions. We can be like, oh, this person in a relationship, like this person doesn't want to be with me. So let me react to that. And then based on how you're reacting, then the other person is like reacts to that. And it ends up like shaping the situation to play out how you like feared it would because you're projecting all that onto it. So it helps to kind of like see how each scenario played out, how you responded to each scenario, and how you played an active role in shaping that scenario to end up the way it did because you were projecting your stuff onto it. And so when you see that it's really like your own doing in how you were projecting onto it, then it can help you to really take ownership of your own perspectives about the situation, and it can help you start to shift that. Because you're not seeing it as like, this keeps happening to me. So that really just leads into like steps 4 and 5, because it's the victim mentality is like, this keeps happening to me. Why does this happen to me? But then when you see like you're playing an active role in it through your own projections,
you're allowing it.
Then what?
I said you're allowing it. By doing that, you're allowing it.
Right. So then you can take ownership. Like, in order to resolve the trigger, you have to realize that another person could be in the exact same situation as you are and respond totally differently. They could feel totally neutral about it. So it's your own perspectives about it that's causing your emotional response. So then when you take ownership of that, then you can start to shift it. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And it's so easy to fall into the victim trap. Because then you're you don't realize it, but you're blame shifting.
Yeah.
And you do kind of feel, I mean, I know for me, I felt like it wasn't my fault. I felt like everybody else is doing this to me.
Yeah. And it's also helpful to understand that there's a part of us, sometimes that's, that's the whole victim mentality. There's a part of us that's attached to this experience. So it's about really being honest with yourself and knowing why it is that you're attached to having this experience, to prove something or to feel validated or to have self-pity. And that's the part of ourselves that's attached to this happening. And so if we're ever going to resolve it, it's about releasing those attachments to being in the victim mode. Yeah.
think it's important too to understand, especially people watching, that if you take ownership, 100% responsibility for the outcome that happens in your life and how you created it, you're going to look at it from a different angle. And you're going to know that, hey, I created this situation. How do I uncreate? How do I not allow this to happen in the future and make shifting changes towards that outcome? And then as you do that, you become, you step into your power. You become more powerful because you're like, I'm controlling every aspect of how I react to someone else. And to me, that was extremely empowering. And I had to show in the heart space a lot of gratitude for that, because it was something that I never understood and I didn't practice it before. And once I made that change, it enabled me to see things a lot clearer.
Yeah. 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 And I tell you, I have not gotten over it 100%. I mean, for the most part, I can, but there's times when I'll slip back and think I'm being victimized, but at least I can identify it now more quickly.
Yeah.
That's
the key.
So that's really, so I'm not wallowing around in self-pity. I'm
right.
Like, I'm triggered, and that
I'm triggered, but I'm not going to react. I'm going to stay neutral, and I'm going to just not play the game. I'm not going to put it out there.
I still, see, now I still have to get to that point. I went through something last night with one of our tribe members. I just dumped on her. Like, I got some bad news, and I dumped on her, late at night, and I was going through that. I'm like, I'm being triggered, sis. I know I'm being triggered, and I don't like the way I'm feeling because it's not the real me.
Right.
This is something else going on here that I still need to work on.
Right. So you're going to remember that the next time.
At least expect it. That's why I try to say to people, don't tell me you're so spiritually developed that nothing ever affects you, because you're a human being. Now that's not the case with someone like Karen. There are those who have been through this for so many years. They're so strong that
they've mastered
it. They've mastered it, and I haven't reached the master level, so it'll take time. All right, well, let's just pause briefly then for a few seconds to let our panelists take a look at this and weigh in.
Some powerful stuff going down, ladies. Trina, I can just hear your brain. Go for it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just beautiful information. It's spot on. It's accurate. It's explaining the process of how to settle yourself down and work on what you got to work on. I just did some energy healing this week, and it was profound. And I think literally these are the steps that you take. Not everybody has to take the same exact ones. Not everybody goes through the same processes, but 90% of getting where you want to go is controlling the chemicals happening within your body, and that's a direct result to emotional response triggers. So to be able to grasp a hold of that, that's going to be so powerful for you as a human, because it's literally what takes you off track. It's what makes you have regret, guilt, all these things, because you do a lot of things not in a good way when you're scared, angry, overreactive, hypersensitive. I mean, the list goes on. PMSing, got a hangover. It goes on and on.
No excuses.
So that's, like I said, these are vital tools for success, y'all. They really are. This is how we get it done. Learning how to control what's going on in here, and processing and not reacting to the outside world, because it's just a reflection of what's going on inside anyways.
For real.
Beautiful.
Taking ownership is like the biggest thing. Like, I am a participant in my life. It's not everything and everyone, against me doing this to me. This is, hey, I'm a player in this. And like Lori said, take yourself out of the game and be neutral. Just like Michelle was mentioning, just get into that neutral zone is just a very powerful, balanced place to be.
Best place to be.
You know, there's a big difference between intuition and instinct.
Yes.
And this is the ultimate battle, is we're dealing with the two parts of the body, one existing in the lower realms, which is the hell realms, and the others existing in the higher realms. And the higher realms is the intuitive part. The lower realms are the instinctual primal parts. So to be able to balance those, that is when you have to go into that 0 point, become the observer, and kind of say, what's happening outside of me, what's happening inside of me, and how can I balance both?
Learning to become your own inner transmuting alchemist.
That's it.
That's what she did.
Take control.
Non-reactive. The thing is what's right about the situation, not what's wrong about the situation.
Exactly.
Is how I've done a lot of the work. And also is you have the ability to respond. It's not your responsibility. You have the ability to respond.
Yeah.
So it's all going on inside of you, and you've created the world that's happening to you.
My friend Miss D, she will say a statement in her video. She's like, things aren't happening to you; they're happening for you. Instead of to, it's for you. See that little, that little shift.
Shifts
it. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's those words you choose to
Good
use.
point.
It's all the way you interpret the angle. You know, 100 people could see an accident and you would all see it differently.
Yes, agreed. It's like, what was that? You remember in camps and stuff when you were a kid and they did that test on you to see if the story changed when you put it around the circle?
Chinese whispers.
How it changed as it got around each person, how the story would evolve. Absolutely.
You got a wonderful mind that makes up a lot of stories.
Yes, we do. We have a very powerful mind.
Yes, 11 dimensions, so you can take your mind anywhere. That's where it goes. It's you've gone outside of your heart and created that space.
Yeah.
So
okay. Let's go ahead and get back to the video.
Okay, so we're back to steps 5, 6, 7, and 8. Wow, that's a lot there. Take ownership of your experience.
Yeah, so that's really what we talked about before. Like these steps kind of lead into each other, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the main thing that I discovered was once you kind of peel off all those layers, right? That helps you to get to that point, taking ownership of it. Then there could be resistance to who you would become without this trigger. So let's say it's maybe like you feel insecure, not worthy, you don't really feel powerful enough to own your worth and stand up for yourself, or to show up and be authentic, whatever it is. Without these triggers, who would you become? So, and then describing that in like an essence of it, like opening to unconditional love, or standing in my power, or owning my worth, just describing the essence of that, or feeling free. And then when we tune into that, and if we imagine that we could just become that right now, many times there's resistance to that. So like when I was going through my own processes, when I first tuned into like owning my power, standing in my power, it's almost like I like felt like I would rather stay small. Like I felt like I wasn't worthy of being that. Like I felt like I couldn't be that. So it's that like resistance to who we would become without the trigger, or once the trigger is resolved, that really keeps us in the cycle of just constantly working on it. Because if we were to truly shift it, we're not ultimately ready for who we would become. So with that resistance in place, then it's just the cycle. So it's about identifying what that desired state is. And then once we notice that we have resistance to becoming that, then it's about shifting that. So realizing, and that's step 7 too. Yep. So realizing that what's the alternative? Continuing on our path with the same trigger being activated. And it's about asking ourselves if we're really willing to continue on with the same struggle, the same trigger, the same pain or whatever it is. And when I was really like honest with myself, I was like, no, because I'm growing and putting myself out there and expressing myself. And it's just really going to put a damper on things if I'm constantly feeling like activated and insecure by these things here and there.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like the alternative is continuing on my path with these triggers. No, actually, I don't want that. So then when I tuned back into what I would shift into, and I really kind of like processed that within myself, I was like, okay, I'm ready. And then once you really feel ready, then it's about generating that resolve, like feeling determined to get there, like feeling like open, ready, I'm doing this and this is happening. And then once you really feel like determined, you have that resolve, then it's just everything happens automatically.
Because you want it more than you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like a hunger.
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
hunger.
it is. Yep. Determination. Yeah.
So once you get over these hurdles of steps 1 through 4 and 5, then you start coming into yourself. You start coming into, I'm liking this. It's like, I want this. I really want it,
And you feel powerful.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we really can finish out the steps right there, because processing the emotions, like once you've taken care of all these previous steps, then it's just about tuning into that repressed emotion and really like letting it process. And through that processing, then you start to, because you're totally open from the previous steps, and you're determined and all that, then you start to download insights about what was previously triggering you. You start to see it from a new perspective, and it's through the processing of the emotions, through receiving these new perspectives, that you really start to shift what was previously your trigger. And then when you've really shifted it, you can tune back into what used to trigger you, and you feel neutral about it. You don't feel that emotional charge anymore. You don't feel that contraction. You're like, wow, like I understand it from a different perspective. So
wow, Michall, well said.
I can't help but notice that there's a part of this process where you're clicking off the biological, physiological, psychological. Now you're shifting into the spiritual.
Yep. Exactly, because it happens automatically. It's all these shifts and insights.
It comes together. Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Yeah, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, you've taken it for Because now you're into the allowing your emotions to come to the surface. Notice when your body energy wants to contract, refocus in the heart center, relaxing the lower belly, and continuing to allow these emotions to come to surface. So you're talking about your chakras, getting that balance in your chakras, partly here. Recommitting your choice and intentions. So so now you're into the spiritual realm here.
Yeah.
Wow, that just popped to me. You just scroll up, Lori, and
you bet.
Yeah, I've never heard someone put it that way, so that's really insightful. Thank you.
Well, it just hit me that's what was going on. Possibly part of what's going on here. Is you're telling the meat suit, knock it off.
Take a back seat.
Reframing it all. Yeah.
I'm kicking your 3D butt out the window.
You're
not in control. I am.
The spirit is in control.
My intention leads this.
Yes.
Energy align. Yeah.
I'm connecting with source now, and for me, this is when I started hearing more from my guides. Because earlier in life, I had been through these cycles of spiritual growth, and I kept pushing them off. Most folks know my story by now, but it's at this point where you can start making those higher connections with your spirit guides, because now you're more open to it, and you're less critical of you're not stuck in the rigidness of your body. You're breaking free from the flesh, and you're.
I think also too, if you're going to deal with a guide, the one thing that I learned dealing with Eric is You need to ask for their help. They cannot help you unless you deeply internally ask for their help. Look, I'm asking for help. Anything you can do to help me. And he said that's the biggest problem that he has with helping other people is they don't recognize that, and they cannot help you unless you ask for it. You give permission, in a sense.
Yep.
That's important.
Yep. It is. It's permission. It's opening the. What is the old Christian? Was it knock and you seek and you shall knock on the door and the door shall open, seek and you shall find.
Shall receive.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're opening the door now to your soul.
Exactly.
Because your soul's been in agony.
Yeah.
Now the spirit's in charge. Your soul's been the one running the ship for a while by itself, almost on autopilot, it seems to me.
It's tapping into the inner being that's you.
Yeah, so good.
We got it.
So here you're going, integrate the new state. This is what I tell people. I feel I've been integrating, and it gets better and better all the time. Now that doesn't mean there isn't like my sister Michall said to me last night, doesn't mean you don't slip back every now and then. Doesn't mean you can't. You're human. You're going to slip.
That's just a reminder.
But you come back.
Well, that's actually like really helpful for the next few steps is anchoring that new state and giving that forward momentum. So what I was finding in, the cycles that I was going through in inner work is when I would like make a shift, there was a part of me that was like uncomfortable with the trigger being gone. And it's almost like it was, or I would like fear that it would come back. And I noticed after so many times happening, I was like, kind of like taking myself back because I wasn't like totally like comfortable with this, moving forward in this new phase of my life. Like, so it's really helpful to kind of align that going forward so that when you notice yourself being like, or like looking for the old response or worrying that it'll come back or not truly trusting that it's shifted or not truly like being excited that you're in this new phase of life, then it's like it helps you to kind of anchor that in. And then knowing like what did the trigger hold you back from doing before? Like what were you afraid of doing? And then what actions can you take now that are representative of that trigger being shifted? And it's really like keeping that forward momentum by like doing stuff that represents you being this new person now. And then that just really kind of keeps the trajectory forward.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I was just thinking that again, that neutral feeling that you have, staying in that neutral keeps you from looking too far forward or stepping too far back kind of a thing. So if you can just stay neutral and stay in the now, I think that helps a lot too. Yeah.
That taking those actions is totally like anchoring the now.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's just pause a few seconds and give our panelists a chance to react to some of this because I think they'll probably have some very useful insight.
They call that the middle way, folks, the middle way. There's a path called the middle way in between everything of that neutral path has the name of the middle way. I've heard a lot about the middle way, and boy, isn't that the challenge? Getting into that neutral zone, taking ownership of your things, and then anchoring in that new state. Because raise your hand if you're guilty of taking previous experiences and transplanting them onto new experiences, contaminating the possibilities of the new experience. Raise your hand.
Every significant healing I've ever witnessed, it always requires a change of perspective. So the new manifestation of the new persona, the new goal, manifestations that you're working on, none of those will take place if you're still existing in the old persona of how you thought. So every time you see massive transformation take place, it's because they see things from a different place. So,
well, and we're all living our
truth of the middle path is because you're still existing in your current old reality while projecting and manifesting the new future reality. That middle path is when you actually anchor them together, because you're actually existing in both at the same time, and you actually have the power now to choose a new way, because you can think about it differently than you could have the day before.
Bingo. Boom.
Bam.
That's it.
Absolutely. Yep.
You just nailed it.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And we can't put old wine in new wineskins, correct?
That's true. That's right.
It'll burn.
Yeah.
Jesus said it best, right?
Truth drops from 2,000 years, 3,000 years ago.
2,000, I think.
Yeah, 2,000.
I just love the fact that she has this. When I was first trying to work through all this, coming out of a severe depression, I if it weren't for some of you, she had the ability to do that herself. I did not. And just knowing that this exists, this PDF file is available. If you know folks who could benefit from it, print it out, send it to them, email it to them.
And her information is in the description box for you.
Yep. Yeah.
Guys, have you guys noticed too that something's changing with energy? Just like Wayne mentioned that his wife audibly heard his voice in her head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're getting more telepathic.
Yeah,
wow. Yes. Yes. With other people. Yeah. Well,
interesting.
It's easy with these guys, with Lori and Crystal.
Oh yeah.
We were and Michelle Free, and well, not so much the folks outside of my community, but within this community, yes.
It's interesting because, I've been doing energy work now for many years, and I had a session this week with one of my old partners I went to school with. And we do a lot of work together because we work beautifully together. Well, I haven't had work in years. I mean, years. Because, if you don't schedule the time just flies by. And self-care, I seem to neglect more than anything else. I'm super guilty of that. I need to try to stop. But so I finally broke down and said, I need a session, come over. So she did a session, and we've worked together, I mean, many times, many times. We actually did 225 hours of clinics together for our license. So lots of work.
That's a lot of work.
She hit a level with me, and I was able to move energy in my body to a level I've never experienced before. And the physical heat was unlike anything I've ever been able to register before. And it was a release of the diaphragm solar plexus that did it. And I just, like I said, I've seen that energy move, and I've seen that diaphragm explosions do what it does. I've never seen it like this before. So there's definitely stronger. Something is really stronger. So,
well, Brother Robert just said,
get ready. And any of the abilities that you currently have been able to tap into, try to do it again right now and see if it's more intense or stronger. Because I'm feeling this is like a big deal.
It is.
Robert V says the veil's getting thin. I've been saying the veil's been gone for me. Where is this veil y'all talking about? It's gone.
Yeah.
Yes, Robert, you have. And he's been repeating this, and he's for a while now, actually. I really appreciate your comments and contributions tonight, Robert. It's very helpful.
Yes.
Throughout the whole thing. Thank you so much. He's got some insight for sure.
Yes, he does. I love
lots
you, Robert.
of people in this chat room have insights.
Yeah, Deborah Trudeau, and
I was just going to say
Deborah
Trudeau
Sloan, everybody.
Truth seeker.
Well, we're going to wrap up the interview with her. Okay. What's that, Trina?
So something's shifting, and it seems like these abilities are getting very, very tangible now, like profoundly. And I always saw that when things started to shift into the new age, that these abilities would come online, because I was always shown by the Lord. He's like, you all will be the way showers. And he's like, and you're going to do party tricks like I did, and he would talk about, you'll do the things I did and greater. And the greater was when groups of us come together and do things.
So much more powerful. Yep.
But
combining forces.
Yeah, he showed me that my whole life. He was like, the things I do, ye shall do greater. I'm like, wow, dude, that's some pretty big order.
It's a big
really.
deal. Yeah, that's a
But
big deal.
I now I'm starting to see, wow, this really could be.
I just love how you call the Lord, hey, dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
"What's up, dude?"
yeah,
I love
that's
that.
just how it
I
goes.
love
Yeah.
that. Yes, because it's so personal. It's on an intimate,
Yeah.
personal
Mhm.
relationship.
He was my invisible friend my whole life.
Yeah.
You know? And I
Girl,
knew
I
not
had
to talk
many of
about
them.
it because I saw what happened when I went to church, you know, and then he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that might not be a good idea. I was like, yeah, right. So yeah.
I love it. It's adorable.
Yeah. It's
Well,
personal.
Crystal, we're gonna wrap up the interview with her.
Okay, let's do it.
And but in the meantime, came across here in the chat room that Mandy Moo is 500 miles away from home and is broken down and stranded.
Oh no!
So we need to send her some good thoughts right now to get the help she needs on the road, because that's not cool.
Come on, brother Jeepers, go help a girl in need.
Let the angels come in a nice Jeep with some water and a way to get home and figure it out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out for her. Everything's going to be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mary, for sharing that. Okay, so let's wrap up the
Mandy.
The rest of the tape. And,
you got it.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm interested in this forward momentum, of course. Anchoring in is a good way to put it, because you're saying, okay, I had an off state, now I'm in an on state. I'm going to anchor into that spirit on state, that higher state. And anchoring in is really a good way of putting that, because you've made that decision that there's no going back. There's only going forward at this point. And regardless if this little slips and slides are to be expected. But as long as you're it's like a boat anchor, and your boat pivots in a storm around that anchor. The anchor's holding you tight, but the boat's still spinning. You're still going to go through these lessons. But now, instead of pulling loose and drifting ashore and having a wreck, or drifting into a heap of rocks and smashing yourself, you're anchored in your faith, in your beliefs, your gnosis, your intuition, your trust. It all comes into play. That's got you grounded. That's got you anchored now.
Yeah.
So the storm's not going to necessarily wipe you away.
Right. And it's really like intention is reality. Like, this is where it gets to like your thoughts create your reality. Like if you're really like intending to, anchor in forward momentum, if that's like what your intention is, then that's what you're going to experience.
Right.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So pull the anchor out of the water.
and move on. Yeah, so you could. It's the same thing when you're boating. I'm sorry, I'm using the analogy, but you drove me to it with your. But when you're out and you're like, okay, let's go to the next port. Let's cruise for a while. You pull up the anchor and you cruise for a while, and you learn some new things along the way, and then you heave ho, throw the anchor over again.
There you go.
Anchor in again until you get that. But you're still moving forward. You're on a beautiful journey, and parts of it aren't so beautiful. I mean, there's some bumps in the running into a crab pot and getting your motor fouled is no fun.
It seems to be work at first, but as you master it and as you're doing it and you're implementing it and living your life that way, then that fades away and it doesn't become work anymore. It's just, it's the practice. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's actually, well, what I was going to say is like, what it's really like through all of this, you see that like your triggers are a blessing, because it's through these triggering experiences that it's like, it opens like a portal of opportunity for you to shift, integrate into more of who you are, discover more of who you are, and expand through that. So that's why my program is called Power and Liberation Through Triggers, because that's what it is. Like it's through your triggers that you have this opportunity to integrate more into your power and liberation through them.
Right.
So like, it's like the human experience. Like we don't want to get to a point where like, we're never growing. Like we're always going to have things to grow from, because that's why we're here in this.
We're always expanding. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're always expanding.
Yeah. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The contrast.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like breaking out
So
the
it's
song.
actually
Anchors away, my dear. Anchors
You feel
away.
empowered.
Well, listen. So how does one work with you to get connected and go through this program? And how do you set it up?
So I'm not sure exactly what your specific question is, but I will say that the best way to get exposed to more trainings and more of this content is, like we see in the background here, my group, Resolving Triggers for Highly Conscious People. It's a Facebook group.
Yep.
Awesome.
So that's where you'll get to see more of me, and I'll have weekly, like every 10 days or so, free live trainings and Q&A. And from there, that'll lead into my program. So this Thursday, I have a training on overcoming fear of rejection and abandonment and not feeling good enough. So that'll be a powerful free training on Thursday. Yeah, thanks. And that'll lead into a 2-hour Zoom group program that I'm going to host on Sunday. So that'll be a paid program, and that'll lead into the Power and Liberation Through Triggers program, which is a 4-day intensive, 2 hours each day on Zoom. And that's where we'll go through the journey of applying these steps to what we're experiencing.
So we air this on Friday. So can they?
So at this point, what they can do? Yeah, at this point, watching this on Friday, they can watch the replay of my free training that'll have happened on Thursday on overcoming fear of rejection and abandonment and not being good enough. And then they can sign up to the course on Sunday. And they can also just go, if they don't want to do that, they can go straight to the Power and Liberation Through Triggers. That's going to be happening March 15th to the 18th.
15th to the 18th.
Excellent.
So now I noticed I had to be invited into your group, and then I invited 5 or 6 people to get to know you a little bit too, and they've most of them have accepted. So now if we got folks here in our chat room who want to do this, should they contact me or Lori so that we can invite them into the group, or even Crystal, or should they send you an email? I mean, how do we get them joined into your Facebook group?
You can really just send them the link to the group. It's just facebook.com/groups/resolving triggers. And that'll take them straight to the group, and they can just request to join there, and they'll see the training, and
they can request to join. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll put that link, right, Lori? We'll stick that in our YouTube description for Friday night, and that'll give folks an opportunity to do that if they want to. And then you have other things coming up, or other programs you're working on, or was that it?
Yeah. So the 2 things really are just the Sunday 2 hours focused on resolving, overcoming fear of rejection and abandonment and not being good enough. Okay. And then the main program is Power and Liberation Through Triggers, which is the 4 days. And
you do all this on Facebook. You don't do anything on YouTube or by any chance, or Instagram or anything?
I did Instagram, but I decided to focus more on cultivating the group, so I disabled my Instagram.
Okay. So right now it's all through Facebook. Okay.
The group is the main thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, we'll we have that website that I told you about, our Crystal Network, Andromeda 7 and Crystal Network website. And I've already given your profile to our owner and designer of that site. And she's the team leader. It's her system she's put together, and it's fantastic. And there's a community portal there that we can add you to, the other Michalls, and it'll link up to your Facebook group,
Yeah.
Or your website, whichever, because you're going to update your website soon too, right?
Yeah. I'm going to put links to the group, links to the Power and Liberation Through Triggers, and
they can actually get
excellent.
Yeah, they can get the 12 Stages to Resolving Triggers PDF too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
got that off for years. Yeah. That's how I got it. Great.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Michall. This has just been such a great session. Really loved it.
Yeah.
I loved everything you added for the group.
Absolutely. Yeah, and anytime you have something new that you want to promote, part of what we do is we're a portal, community portal. So, periodically folks might want to come on and give an update on what they're working on, and you're more than welcome to come back and join us. And, and if you have a specific workshop you want to promote, we do that too. We do workshops. So we allow you to use our platform to come in and give a workshop to reach a broader audience. So
nice.
If you want to go outside of Facebook and you want to include a broader audience, it's a good thing to do a workshop with us because we're broadcasting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And you're always welcome.
Yeah.
Always.
And we haven't quite figured it out yet. It's a future enhancement and that is for us to broadcast simultaneously over both YouTube and Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah.
So folks like you who have Facebook programs, we might be able to stream it. If you come on here to give the workshop, we can stream it to Facebook and YouTube.
Cool.
So that'd be
look into that. That's
awesome. Well, thank you so much, and really appreciate it. And we thank Perry Agan once again for looking after the team.
Thank you, Perry.
And the whole tribe. I'm like, Perry, the next person, I mean, we keep coming up with Michalle's, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. We need a Bonnie and Clyde or something. No, I'm just kidding. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be in touch with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now stay on here after we record.
Yeah.
So. Okay, bye
All right.
everyone in the chat room.
Thank you, Michall.
Catch up with you.
Bye-bye.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Waving bye. She's not.
Doesn't that seem weird? This is a weird feeling.
I love it.
I feel like I'm cloned up here.
Yeah, it's a trip.
I had
like deja vu.
I had a good feeling a long time ago that pre-records to expand, to reach everybody, give everybody a chance on their time zones to do this would be really fun. And I don't know about y'all, but I loved it.
I did too. I enjoyed it.
It's a good little switch up. You don't have to do it all the time, but sometimes it's good. Yeah.
Yep.
Love it. Yep. Love it.
It was a good way to bring her in because she couldn't be here live.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to miss out on that. So
from what I can tell, the chat room appreciated it tonight.
Yeah, they did. They're loving it. And I appreciate her brain. We got another brain that is just like this profound,
Another perspective, which was really enlightening for me as well. So I enjoyed
very refreshing. Very refreshing. Absolutely. Hopefully we can get her back on and maybe do a workshop like Teresa.
I'd love that.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I think she might be open to it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome.
She's a wonderful person.
You pronounce her name Michall?
Michall.
Okay.
Yeah. She's she's in Israel and she's got that cultural background, so she has a different pronunciation of her name. Yeah. Okay. But it means Michelle. It's the same.
Yeah. I just thought it was a great way, a different way to say it, more unique. She put her own spin on it, and I like that.
I won't get her confused with any other Michelle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Karen already has the 4 of the Michalles loaded onto the Crystal Network in Andromeda. So now she's got a 5th one. I just gave it. She's like, another one. Oh, wonderful. So now she wants to do something about the Michelle community.
It's the Michelle portals.
No doubt. No doubt.
So anyway, it is 10:22, Crystal. I know this was a little long this first time around. We were getting used to the process, so that maybe the next one will do a better job of time management. But I really wanted her to get her material out. Wasn't sure how many times to pause the interview, so you all can give us feedback later, and we'll smooth out this process. But I think for the most part, it worked pretty well.
Teresa, this was y'all's first time running this. I'm not going to slap you now or beat you with
good job, Crystal. Can always count on for that.
Yeah. But anyway, so Jules, you have a poetry clip and then we have a raffle of Motharella's book from last week's show.
Yes.
So we need to roll that, right?
Rolling Jules's video. Here we go.
Okay.
Hi folks, I've got Michall on today, and what I'm going to actually talk about is Metatron. Now, Metatron in biblical sense could mean whatever you want it to mean, but I've pulled it apart to show you that they're talking about inside of us. So we've got Metatron, and I've also spelled it as meta at on, which is, of course, Our eye is now turned on like iron. I are on. Our iron, which is also to do with Mars, but it's all to do with what's going on inside of our body. So Metatron, meter, which means me as you are. Our measure, we're balanced now, the male and female ores, the meteors, we've met the ore inside of us. And iron, of course, is strength, isn't it? So actually, meta means transcending. The trance is ending. And tron is just a party cell or particles accelerator. So here you can see it also means after or beyond. The trance is ending beyond. Oh yeah, after. Yeah. Anyway, I've pulled accelerator apart. AC, alternating current, the cell, torus field, right? Accelerator. The alternating current in our cells, the torus field, is transcending. Anyway, guys, there'll be probably more to go with that, but you'll work it out, won't you? Bye.
That was great.
Adorable. Fantastic. I love the way you
as you know,
with feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yesterday I was unable to upload that one to my YouTube channel for whatever reason. And so thank you, girls, for playing that one. And they all just come to me in moments of whatever,
Brilliant.
wherever we are. And then
little downloads.
They're little insights I get.
Yeah.
But of course it does, you can see I undo the spell because you look at the word accelerator, it explains it right there. And that's what's going on inside of us.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for sharing your inloads.
Yeah. Yeah. She gets them all day long. She gets bits and pieces. And then at the end of the day, there's this poem. So you can see her process of how she works through it, breaks it down. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And anytime you can't upload to your channel, just let us know.
Yeah.
You know?
We'll put it on there.
We'll put it out there.
Well, it's like the day before, Trina and I weren't able to link into that for that other show. There's obviously, and my sister, I went around to Mum's and my sister said, the internet's playing up today here. So who knows what's going on,
Okay,
there's lots of powerful energy coming in, so they don't know how to cope with it.
That's it.
Okay, well, here we go.
This
is Crystal, as promised. Here's the magic hat. The magic hat.
Yay!
So this is the drawing for Motharella's book.
Yes.
From the Mad Hatter show. So you took all the people in chat, put their names in the hat, and now you're going to draw the name on who gets the book. Wow. Yeah, drum roll.
Knocking. Somebody's not. Oh, who's somebody doing a drum roll?
It's a drum roll.
Love it, Crystal. You're a hoot. All right. We had 40-some people in chat the night Motherella's show was on.
Yeah, that was great.
And there's some folks that aren't in the drawing because they already have the book. Now, we're going to draw up to 3 names. And the reason we're doing this is because if somebody says, well, I don't want the book, or I already have it, then we'll go to the next person that we draw. So we'll draw up to 3 names and give it a try that way. And if that doesn't work, then we'll draw more later. Oops, one's coming out of that. Don't do that. Okay. So all their names are in here. Okay. Do the same process I use with the cards, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Let some hands get hot first.
This means the universe wants this person to have this. So.
Right.
Truth Seeker.
Oh, yes.
Truth Seeker is number 1.
All right.
Truth Seeker.
Awesome.
All right. Let's go to number. And somebody write this down for me.
I got it.
The worst thing that could happen right now is for Ruby to come along and eat the paper because she loves to eat paper. All right.
Congratulations, Truth Seeker.
There's truth in the house.
Yes.
Yes.
Does Truth want this book?
Yes, she wants the book.
Okay, well then we don't need to keep drawing.
Nope.
All right. All right.
We have
Truth.
a winner.
Congratulations, Truth. Now we need you to send us an email with your name and your mailing address so that we can send that on to Michelle Piper, Dr. Mozzarella Piper, so that she can ship that book to you, Truth. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Perfect.
There you go.
Congratulations.
And if anyone still wants one of my books, they can email Laurie as well.
Yeah.
Here at Andromeda 7. Yep. And we'll get it out to you.
Request, right?
Huh?
Did you get your books today? I know Robert V got his. You didn't get yours yet?
I might. I'll check my mailbox. I didn't check.
Check your mailbox, and there's I put
mine.
4 copies in there for you, Trina, so that you can give some away. I did the same thing for Robert V. He got his today, so I'll bet you they're in your mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be brave and write on the blank pages, everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I love that. I love that.
I got one too.
Awesome.
So, is there time,
First thing
Crystal?
I'm doing on mine, Julianne, is I'm drawing a heart because I love you so much. And I'm going to anoint it with my special sacred oils to make it smell like heaven.
Oh,
There you go.
I love that.
Nice.
That's great.
Ooh la la.
Awesome.
I put a big heart on there for Julianne, and I'm going to make it smell real pretty. And that's Julie.
There you go. I bought gardenia.
Yes, it's my favorite.
Oh, I love gardenia. And Laurie, how long is David Barry's video?
It's not long at all, and it's really great. Shall we take a peek at it? Let's do it, you guys. Okay, you gals.
Thanks, Crystal.
Here we go.
Thank you, David. Thank you, David.
Love it.
Don't you love it when your face is frozen like this?
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
It's hard to believe we've done that many shows, you know?
21 shows.
Gosh.
Wow.
And that was just the clips for the first 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were actually did this originally just to celebrate on the Mad Hatters.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, this could be an opening video show, you know? Because it really rocks it out. So we're still thinking it through. So y'all tell us what you think.
Absolutely.
Should we have this as our opening show video? Or
Yeah,
should
I
we
liked
save
it.
it for special occasions or whatever? Let us know. Let us know.
We're
And
ever
also,
evolving
yeah,
here.
Yep.
That's right.
yep,
That's
yep,
it. We are.
yep.
Enjoy the ride.
Okay, so Marcia Price has a bunch of new products. So, folks, please go to her Facebook page and check out Inspirations, Marcia's Inspirations. She's got a bunch of new stuff she's put together, and would love to fill some orders. She really would, and she's on the Crystal Network updating her information as well.
It's got a lot of new things too, things I haven't seen before. So I'm ready.
She's got the little 4-leaf clover for St. Patty's Day, kind of like the green ones, the green hearts. So gotta get
awesome. Yeah.
They're freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful
And
stuff.
Beautiful.
yeah. Now, Jules, the other Jules, Jewels, Jewels, has taken on the responsibility of assisting David Barry with the administration, day-to-day administration of the Discord server. So she's going to help streamline it, help make it more useful, help manage the process flow a little bit. Not because it's just that people were getting confused and there's a lot of new folks don't know how to use it. And with Karen and us working with Karen on redesigning the website the way we've done, we thought a workshop would be very useful called a Soul Tribe Technology Workshop.
Yeah, very useful. Yes,
to have
please.
Joel and Karen come on together to show us how to navigate through the web page and how to navigate through Discord and how you can set up different chat boxes and how to use them in Discord. So we thank them both for taking that on and offering to do that. And we'll be working with them to put a workshop together, maybe do it on a Wednesday night or a Friday night, whatever. But it will be for those two to run their own little workshop showing us on screen. We're going to let them do a share screen and show us how to navigate through. It's like a little tutorial on how to use both systems.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent. And Nina's going to do an unboxing on Sunday of Marcia Price's products. So
great.
Awesome.
Yeah. So guys, go check it out. As you know, you can see what Marcia does. I love unboxing of things because you kind of get ooh, what did they get? Ooh, I want that.
Yeah, so much fun.
For real.
That's
great,
Nina. Great.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm gonna go get me some too. Do a little unboxing. I love doing unboxings. They're just so fun. Yeah.
The best.
So I'd love to have Nina do some kind of an interactive show like we did tonight and record with us.
Yes.
Something that she would like to share, the process she goes through when she does her card readings. Yeah, how she works her process, and I'd love to learn more about how Nina gets her information and works with cards. So.
Oh yeah, that would be intriguing. We need to pick Nina's brain. I would love to do that. We're just going to do a series of showing everyone's brains, how beautiful everyone's brains and minds, and it's just you couldn't ask for a more beautiful group of souls, really.
Okay, I think that's it. Crystal, I don't have anything else unless you do.
All right, you guys.
And I'm just going to go ahead and take us out because it has been a pretty long show.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone,
for your gifts and talents.
Bye.
Peace, everyone. Much love. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye now.
Good night.